You are in 100%
You're along
Wendy.
for the ride. Hang on tight. Hey there! Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone! This is Liza, and I've got a secret snack, and Emma wants to know what it is.
Goodness.
And you're not telling.
No, but I'm chewing.
You're a
good.
mean one, little Miss Grinch.
Well, I will tell you it is because I think people around the country don't get this, and I love it because it comes from our little Mexi Mart here.
Oh, yeah.
You ever
I know.
had these coconut macaroon?
Yeah, they're very good,
treats?
actually, yeah.
Oh, it's just like pure coconut and sugar in a patty.
I was going to say that would be a little sweet for me. It's basically sugar masquerading as coconut.
Well, you know what? I can't believe anything's too sweet for you because you are the sweetest. It's Miss Emma.
Hello, darling. This is indeed Miss Emma, and I have a secret, too.
What?
I got a secret. Not a secret snack, though. I'm keeping that one to myself, though. Tra-la-la.
All right.
It's lovely to be here.
Going around the room, we've got Neal. Neal, what's the spiel?
What's the deal?
I am completely an open book. I have no secrets that I'm going to share with you guys, so I just contradicted myself.
You know, you've got a secret past of being a hippie.
I'm not so secret.
Heap.
Yeah, we were. Somebody was just talking about the Further Bus, Ken Kesey, and the Merry Pranksters.
Funny you should say that, because guess who just bought their own bus? It's Wendy Crockett.
What's happening, everybody? You guys want to take a ride on my bus?
You bought a bus? School bus? Tour bus? What kind of bus?
I bought a 2011 Bluebird school bus with a wheelchair lift. Well, right now it's a wheelchair lift. In short order, it will be a motorcycle lift, and
Perfect.
all will be right in my world.
Emma has passed out under that exact same model.
I have indeed. That was a good few years ago, wasn't it now, in Ohio?
It's amazing, the parallels between me and Emma, I think.
Yes, I know. We get up to the same shenanigans. No, I've been drinking quite a lot of gin actually for the last for the day previously, and I was quite tired because we travelled from California to Cleveland the day before, and we'd all accumulated at Uncle Phil's house. And then we made it, and that was quite a trek in itself from Uncle Phil's house to the fairgrounds. It was like a few hours. And I didn't realize how tired I was, and I continued drinking gin.
Well, that's because Ohio.
And
Right?
I just ran out of steam, as it were. And then next thing I know, I heard people looking for me, and I was unconscious under a bus. I was very happy, though.
Yes, but you have to know that Emma sleeps like the dead, and we had to poke her with a stick. You know those people who look just dead, like yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's Emma. And I'll tell you, Stumpy John's missing. He's got stuff he's working on. Bagel's missing. He went to
Stumpy
a really
John's
cool...
working on himself, darling.
No, he's traveling tomorrow. Bagel was at a big rally, but the other person is missing, and I am now hereby decreeing a name change.
Oh, I see.
Naked Jim is no more. He is now going to be referred to as Peepaw Jim.
Peepaw.
Peepaw.
Peepaw Jim.
I see.
Because he is now a grandpa.
Oh, very good.
Oh, that's sweet. I heard, he mentioned something that was coming up for him.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Do you like that, Peepaw?
I'm not sure what this language is you're speaking. Is this an American
I would
thing?
say, I don't know.
It's a little bit of Southern.
Yeah, it sounds a little weird. Peepaw. That's.
Oh, yeah.
How about Pawpaw or something like that?
Oh, well, we like Peepaw.
Yeah.
But no, anybody
You got
who's
Meemaw and Peepaw.
Yeah, but
no one knows that.
anyone who's listened to this show regularly will know, of course, who Naked Jim is, and know that he originally started coming down because his daughter Jake bought a motorcycle, decided she wanted to learn how to work on it, came down, and then he followed her down, wanting to know this bunch of miscreants that Jake was hanging out with. And so
Because he
Jake...
saw his daughter riding down the street with a giant dildo in her hand.
Right, exactly.
Thought
So,
he should check in.
Yeah, he thought he'd better check in.
I mean, as one does.
So they both became regulars. Jake pursued a career in the Navy and has made her dad very proud
She's
indeed.
a badass.
She is bad to the bone. She jumps out of helicopters and rescues people, basically, and has just given birth to a child.
Yeah.
Very nice-looking child as well. Because generally newborn babies are not good-looking. You know, they kind of look pink and squishy and not a good look.
It depends which hole they come out of.
Yeah, but no, it's good-looking baby. Very good-looking baby.
Sometimes the heads get squished. It takes a while for the plates to come back
Yeah,
out.
no, there's no...
Because it came out the good hole.
Yeah. So
No squishy bits.
Yeah, no squishy bits. Good-looking baby, and Jim's very, very proud. So congratulations to Jim and Jake.
Yeah. And I wanted to make a couple announcements. One,
Yes.
it was my birthday this week.
I do.
And I bought myself a new gift. Gifts. I got myself a new helmet. Yay.
Oh, you got Helmut?
Yeah, I got I love, well, you can see, because I've now had that orange one, 3 identical, the Scorpion AT950s.
Yes.
Well, now they've updated, so now I got the AT960.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, if it works for you, it's great. I have a question.
And you give me a bad time about renting a V-Strom when I went to Ireland. Talk about stuck on the same note.
Did you reach the big 6-0 yet?
No.
Next year?
I can still act like a child. I'm only 59.
Oh, blimey.
Yes.
I bet
And I got myself a new Sena unit to go with it.
Oh, fantastic. That's a nice birthday gift.
Yeah, I thought I deserved it.
Yeah, I think you do.
But I got another gift. And you know when you get like a random package in the mail and you don't know who it came from? And this one is cool. Check this out.
Oh. So what we are looking at here, it is a Lego man, but it's not any Lego man.
About 1.5 inches tall.
It is Evel Knievel Lego man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the Evel Knievel expression, which is kind of bordering contempt and terror. Red, white, and blue, Evel Knievel, and cape. Oh, and he comes with a helmet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I mean, you actually pull his head off and put the helmet on, right? Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. He does look quite terrified, though.
I didn't know that they make a little Evel Knievel Lego figure.
And he's got a cape. Do you think this is like a one-off thing, or do you think this is like...
It might be. You can get custom-made figures where you can pick all the accessories.
No, I think this is a custom-made one. It's absolutely splendid.
So I don't know who it came from. Isn't that marvelous?
Well,
Wendy, did it come from you?
That wasn't me, but I feel bad that I didn't think of that.
Well, to share with you, he has a look of abject terror.
Well, you can, yeah.
And a mustache.
So if you're listening to the show and you sent this thing, congratulations. You made Liza very happy.
Yes, thank you very much. I wanted to get to another, well, not really an announcement, but...
Because I have one, but I want you to finish yours first.
An update.
Yes.
Especially since I have 2 mechanics here.
Yes.
So the Harley update. Oh, God. No, hold on.
The barge.
So, Wendy, are you up to date on this at all, my wandering Harley?
I have listened to the saga up to last week.
Okay. So, slightly wanders, does not wander at low speeds around town or in a turn, just like from like 50 to 80, right? And got some feedback and suggestions, but Unky Phil and Emma both said the same thing, that it's very likely it could be a stiff or worn head bearing, neck bearing.
Yeah.
And that I needed to lift the front end up and make sure it flops easily side to side, that it doesn't hang up, stop in the middle, or...
Has a little notch, and you'll feel the notch.
So I did that, no notch.
Okay.
And it flopped easily back and forth, so it's not favoring one side
it's
or
quite
anything.
flaccid.
Yeah, but no play, because we had grabbed the wheel and forks and pulled. So not the head bearing.
Okay.
And
So
I'm back.
it is it's still possible that it's not notchy, but it can be too loose and give you a wiggle too. There should be a spec that you turn you turn the front end a certain number of degrees before it falls away. So if it doesn't ever balance nicely in the center, like it just wants to flop hard either way, I would look at properly torquing your.
All right, I didn't feel that. I pulled it to one side and then gave it the push, and it just went all the way over to the other side. And then I did the same thing from there, just kind of push, and it went smoothly over. So no friction, no notch.
My thoughts, it's as simple as mismatched tires. I think you need to check.
I checked the tires.
Yes.
Now, full disclosure, there's big bags and fenders, so I couldn't see all the sides of the tire.
Yes.
But the front tire said American and had stars on it.
Yes.
And the rear tire said Davidson.
So
it seems that, though they did have different tread patterns, but they seems that these are both tires made for Harley Davidson. One says Harley Davidson, and I don't know if the other one says Harley Davidson. Like, I don't know if these are Harley Davidson Americans. Does that sound like a thing? Have you heard of this? It said American and it had like stars in a block.
No, I mean, they're clearly
sounds
both
very Chinese to me.
No, they're both made by Dunlop.
Are they?
Yeah.
They are Dunlops.
Okay.
But they are, strictly speaking, they are a different model.
Okay.
So whether it
but
would
they're
be,
both seemingly for a Harley Davidson bike.
The big thing that people get mixed up with when tires get to a certain size, and it's not, funnily enough, it's not entirely a Harley problem. It's funny enough, it's more of an adventure bike problem. Is people will put bias tires when they should be radials and radial tires when they should be bias plates. And so you read the tire size, and it'll say something like 170/70 B17. Well, that's a bias plate tire because B stands for bias, you see. Or you'll have 170/60 R17R, like a pirate.
Tires for
radial.
Yeah,
and one shouldn't mix them up.
The Dunlop American is bias ply, you guys. And the D404, D402s are typically radials. Some of them are bias. So, yeah, double check that.
Yeah, exactly. It might be something as simple as that. Did you do the tire pressures yet?
Tire pressure was factory.
Which
set.
is?
Was it 40 in the rear? It was, or whatever you had set it.
Yeah.
It was still that.
Okay, because usually I'm pretty diligent with tire pressures.
And then another listener had written in that they had a similar symptom on a big cruiser that had the twin shocks that were uneven.
Yes.
And I'm like, this does have an air shock. And I did put air in it once before, and I checked, and it seemed to have gone flat again. So I think it's got a little bit of a leak.
Leaky.
And so I put air back in, and it was like holding it. Like I checked like a day later, it still had it. So it's not like an immediate out. But after 2 weeks, do you think that might be it?
No, I think I have the answer. So yours has a rubber-mounted engine, but it's got a very early version of a rubber-mounted engine. And what you will find, and I can't remember on yours if it's on the cylinder head or it's on the very front, there's this giant frigging Heim joint, and it stops everything wobbling around, and you can actually tighten it up. And I bet you that is too loose.
And where do I find this?
It'll either be between the cylinders, and it'll go from the engine to the frame, and it'll look like a giant Heim joint. Or you will find it on the front, in front of the front cylinder and the oil filter
area. So do you think it has less to do with the speed I'm going and more to do with the RPMs I'm maintaining?
No, I think it's just getting a bit vague.
Oh.
Because the engine's rubber mounted. And when I say the engine is rubber mounted, I mean the engine swing up, the whole back end of the bike is rubber mounted. It's like a dyno. If you, a dyno, the swing arm is attached to the engine and everything is rubber mounted. And so if a dyno, like my Superglide, if the engine mounts get a bit wibbly wobbly, the whole thing starts flopping around.
All right,
it's quite disconcerting because you'll follow one with knackered engine mounts, and the back wheel will be kind of flopping to one side or another. I
So
think it
just
might be
make
that.
sure that there's some tension on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I bet that's the answer. It just came to me in a flash.
Wendy, do you concur?
I think that sounds like a great thing to start with.
Well, it's free, which is why I like it.
Yeah. I like
It
that too.
requires like 5 minutes wrenching work as opposed to spending money. So we tried the free stuff first. Can I say my confession? Because I have a terrible confession to
I
make.
don't think I can stop you, so go ahead.
Well, no, I'd like. Well, anybody who knows me knows how much my little shop means to me, and I love it dearly. I played hooky on Friday.
Emma.
I know. I
know.
and I don't.
Okay.
I don't feel bad about it. And
I
that's
know.
and so
why.
I feel doubly guilty. Look, Wendy, my little shop is my life. It's my absolute life. I jump out of bed in the morning and I shovel toast and Cheerios into my face in anticipation of going to my little shop and just, being this motorcycle person all day. And I played hooky on Friday. And it felt great. So
The audacity.
Yeah, and I knew it was happening because we had a listener.
Did you have the sewing circle you went to?
Yeah, the sewing circle.
Okay.
The church sewing circle. Christian mingle and knitting needles.
Did Mildred bring the tea and biscuits?
What a name. The Mildred Bring the Tea Club. More tea, Vicar. Don't mind if I do. Perhaps
teacups
another
with
cup.
whiskey in them. So,
what I
yeah.
imagine you'd be doing when
So,
you play hooky from the garage.
No, we have a listener, a delightful young man called Curtis, who was just the sweetest guy from Colorado, and him and his friend Killian. So it's Curtis and Killian.
Wait, Killian from Vancouver?
No.
Okay.
Killian also from Colorado. And they flew out to San Francisco, picked up some rental bikes, and did the San Francisco experience, including getting a tattoo. And then rode down to Mototown, plucked me from a working day, and we rode down to Big Sur.
Hey,
Oh, God, it was glorious. And my God, it was great.
Wait. What were they riding?
So, Curtis was on a Yamaha Bolt.
Okay. Yeah.
950, which is actually quite a good bike. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a cruiser.
Yeah.
But it's a big V-twin. I tell you what, though, and it's fairly typical of Yamaha, and Yamaha do this. When they kind of do a knockoff, and I would argue that the Bolt is kind of a knockoff of a Sportster with like a Yamaha flavor, they will often copy the worst traits of the bike. And one of the big complaints about early Sportsters is that the airbox gets in the way of your right leg. And so guess what? It's 950 Bolt had this giant frigging airbox sticking out so you can't put your right leg where you want it to. And there's no need for it, but in all other respects, it was a very good bike. And Killian was on an FC07, which is a very nice bike, sporty bike.
Yeah. All right. So a Bolt and an FC07. I want to guess what you pulled out to ride with them. Because it'd be completely inappropriate if you rode the Harley.
But I did. So I took Superglide. It's a nice Superglide kind of day. And I was a little concerned at first, and this is typical California at this time of year, because they showed up just after lunch, and it was cloudy and miserable, as things usually are in Monterey. And I'm like, okay, guys, do you want to go down the coast, or do you want to chase the sun? And I was either going to take them down the coast, hoping it'd clear up, or take them on River Road and then go inland and, get warm and sunny. And they said, well, whatever you want to do. But I did a bit of thinking, and Colorado is landlocked. So there's no coast, is there? So I thought, well, I'll take them down the coast and we'll roll the dice. I tell you what, the sun came out. It was absolutely beautiful. It was a perfect day.
So they had the Bixby Bridge experience?
They did the Bixby Bridge experience, the River Inn experience. the Nepenthe experience. And the best part about it is we got to the very end because Highway 1 just stops. I mean, there's a barrier across the road and you can't go any further. But there's this little embankment you can stand up on and look out over endless amounts of the Pacific. And there was a school of whales going by. You said,
oh my gosh.
So, I mean, it was a complete...
It sounds complete. You've gone over the edge. There's too many details. It's too wonderful. You've made this up.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a complete fantasy. But I really wanted to thank both of them for being excellent riding companions, first and foremost. Listening to the show, secondly, well, that's really foremost. And just, being neat. I like neat people.
Well, I like excellent riding companions.
Oh, and they were.
Which brings us to our next topic.
Tra-la-la.
Who's the most excellent riding companion? Somebody who can ride anything, anywhere, and then fix it if it gets broken. It'd be Wendy.
I agree.
I think you overrank me as a riding companion. I think I'm probably one of the worst riding companions. I have a very fixed, idea of what is perfect riding, and I couldn't tell you what it is until I see that you're doing it wrong. So I don't know. I have everything that works for me, and then I'll be riding with somebody, and it's like, why are you going so fast through this little town? That's ridiculous. It's just absurd. And then, why are you going so slow on the highway? I don't like any of this that you're doing. It's terrible. And so I fully understand and embrace that I'm a terrible person to ride with. And that's why Liza and I work so well together.
Well, it must be
equally terrible.
Yeah, it must be why I ride with Liza so well, because I like to think when me and Liza ride together, it's very intuitive. So clearly I'm an appalling rider as
That's
well.
Only because you and I have ridden long enough that you are predictably unpredictable.
Yes, well, as are you.
That's the key. That must be the key. Like, we are all fully okay in our unpredictability, and that makes us just happy together.
Well, I think the commonality between all of us, Wendy, is, we've all been doing this for so long, and we've sat in that bloody seat for so many hundreds of thousands of miles. We've all got the shittiest habits, and just impossible to train, impossible to break these bad habits. But somehow we've kind of cobbled together this means of getting down the road quickly and safely and all the things.
I'm just going to call you out on this one thing that I don't know if you're aware that you do this, but when you're leading the group, sometimes you lead from the left lane and sometimes you lead from the right lane. So when we were following you last weekend, Neal and I'm like, oh wait, we're switching now.
Yeah, well,
so all of us behind, we just move positions. All right, because you're going to get us there. Well, we just learned, all right, no, now she's like, all right, let's switch.
But do you know why
it keeps us on our toes?
I know.
No, but you don't know why I'm doing that. I do.
Oh, why?
Because the camber of the road.
Oh.
If the camber of the road's pulling me to the right, I'm riding in the middle. If the camber of the road is going the other way, I'm going to go over to the other side.
Well, we're riding staggered, so we keep swapping around behind you, but we're all on comms like, oh, here we go again. All right, switching.
Yeah.
It's like we do it. You're
very good.
Predictably unpredictable is what I'm saying.
It makes sense in her head,
I know.
and all y'all else can figure it out.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We did. That's what I'm saying. No need to call her. We didn't we're just doing it. We got
deal with it.
Well, Wendy, you did another epic ride recently that I want to talk to. And of course, last week we had both of our good friend Chris Comley on to talk about the scooter cannonball.
Yep.
But you did the bigger thing.
I did. I was in the Iron Butt Rally again this year.
Now, is this the first time it's back since it stopped? Did it just miss one year?
It didn't actually miss any years.
Okay.
So they had announced that it wasn't going to go on as planned. Mm-hmm. And then the organizers of the LDX rally were able to step in and resolve some of the issues that were preventing the rally from going on. And we did have very little notice, whereas normally you'd have close to 2 years notice if your name was drawn to get into the rally. This year we had 6 months prep time. So it definitely.
So, and just a side note, because I know that the rally had at one time it announced that it couldn't get insurance for it. I don't know if you know, there's another rally already happened, but had reached out to me earlier in the year that the rally's been going on decades, that was having trouble getting insurance. And then I just got an announcement that the ADV rally down near like San Diego, done because they couldn't get insurance. And this is
it's just
huge problem. But it sounds like the IBR they managed to salvage it and get it back up and running.
Yeah, and it's an ongoing problem, and just for our sport in general, all different types of riding, it's really, really problematic. And I hope that the people that we put faith in to represent us and the government and whatnot will step up and help, because we're really rapidly losing our sports. But
when you refer to your sport, is it unfair to call it the couch surfing of motorcycling?
No, I mean across the board. I mean, anything with two wheels, any sort of competition, we're losing.
Right.
Yeah.
Private insurance premiums are going through the roof. Shop insurance is going through the roof. Our friend Mason.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that Mason closed down was his shop insurance was just getting crazy. I dread my renewals coming through every year.
And that was for a little 2-man shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And mine's smaller still, but, everything's going through the roof. I wanted to go back on something you said, just very casually, but I'm interested now. So the Iron Butt Rally, you say you actually get invited to the Iron Butt, or you get drawn to it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it tend to be oversubscribed in your experience?
So how it works to get into the Iron Butt Rally, it is a lottery. So you can put in an application, and they expect you to have some sort of long distance riding resume. At bare minimum, like some certified long distance rides. Ideally,
didn't you have to have at least completed an Iron Butt to qualify? I'd heard that at one point.
Yeah. So you need to have 1,000 miles in 24 hours, or 1,536, or a coast to coast, or a border to border, something like that, in order to have your application entertained. And then there's a series of drawings where, if you're a veteran, you have extra chances of getting drawn. But this year it was very different, because we had such short notice when they were able to bring it back to life. So we ended up with about an equal mix. I think we had, if memory serves, pretty close to 50-50 on veteran riders and rookies, which is a really high number of rookies this year.
And what was that number what was the total number of riders this year?
I believe we had 115 people that were drawn to start, and we had 99 people show up at the starting line.
Okay.
And can we say yet how many people finished?
49 people finished.
Okay.
Wow.
I believe it was either 49 finished, 51 didn't, or 51 finished, 49 didn't. But it was also half. Pretty close to half and half. Yeah.
So real quick, for those who don't know what the IBR is, can you just give the breakdown?
So the Iron Butt Rally is basically a scavenger hunt around North America. So the tagline is 11 days, 11,000 miles, but every single rider plans their own route. So you show up at the starting line, and you're given a list of bonus locations. And each of those bonus locations has a point value attached. And you have to do something in order to earn those points. So that might be to take a photograph. It might be to take a museum tour. It might be to hike somewhere. It might be to take a sky tram across this canyon and take a picture from the middle. It might be to go into a nudist colony and take a picture of you in your riding gear sitting in a hot tub. That is an actual bonus that has happened. We had in a rally where we each got to create our own bonus, where you got to come to our shop area in California and do some hot laps on a racing lawnmower. All sorts of things you can do to earn points. And you need to be very mindful of how long not only does it take you to get there. Is this in the middle of Washington, D.C. in rush hour? Is this something like a racing lawnmower that's going to take an hour out of your day? because you will also have checkpoints that are time limited.
Right. And let's get down to the actual math of it. Because if you want to complete 1,000 miles in 24 hours, you need to average about 46 miles an hour. Average.
Right.
Without stopping. Now you're factoring in gasoline, other things, making stops. So you got to hustle. I mean, this is not a slow ride.
Well, big tanks and diapers. There you go.
Yeah, looking at it from the other way, if you are on high-speed interstates and you're averaging 70 miles an hour, it takes under 15 hours to do 1,000 miles.
Right.
So in between that 46 miles an hour and 70 miles an hour is about where you're going to find your average. It is very, very difficult to maintain like an overall average of anywhere over the low 60s once you factor in. And I mean, like, I will fuel up without getting off the bike. I have my main tank and my auxiliary tank. I will fuel up both without getting off the bike and just keep going. And that's a 4-minute stop. But, you know, every one of those adds up. So every, you know, the 2 minutes you take securing your bonus photo and documenting that to make sure you got exactly the right thing and everything is reported properly, that's 2 more minutes. So all these little things add up and need to be factored in.
And I mean, I'm sure it hasn't happened to you, but I am sure people have missed the Ironbird by 5 minutes, by 3 minutes, by 2 minutes.
Oh, the time?
It absolutely has.
Out. And that's got to be heartbreaking, being so close.
It absolutely is. And this year was a unique year, and we can get into that a bit, but definitely. So typically how it works is you will have a checkpoint window, and then you will have a penalty window that might be an hour or 2 hours, where you will have rapidly accruing penalty points, and then you'll have your disqualification time. And definitely there have been some really heartbreaking almost made it, but not quite situations. But
well, and you normally ride your trusty steed, your FJ 1100.
My stalwart FJR 1300.
One of,
yes.
How many do you own now? 8?
8. We've got 8 of them.
I mean, I have many of them that come down the shop, and I always say the same thing to the owner when they come down. They say, "Oh, that's a big old thing, isn't it?" And oh, yeah, it's a big old thing, and they really are. I mean, it's a bloody lump, isn't it?
Neal, I'd like to point out you gave me shit for buying the same helmet 4 times. Why aren't you giving her shit?
Yeah. Stuck in a rut there, Wendy? Much?
Thank you.
They find me like lost puppies, and who am I to say no?
Well, and you know them, and you know them so well. And it's a great platform. Exactly.
A lot of it is that I like. So we had to. My husband, you may or may not know, proposed to me with a match set of FJRs. And the reason he did that is because I had a Yamaha FC1, which I absolutely loved, except chain drive is a bummer. And the location of the oil filter, when you're doing an oil change, it just pukes all over the hot exhaust.
Vomits everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So ridiculous. So I'm looking at the FJR and I'm like, wow, that fixes both of those problems. That looks really nice. Oh, look at how sexy that is. Right?
Yeah. You are represented here in the studio. I keep one right behind me.
Yep. So, Mike, my now husband, was saying, I think I'm going to get one. And I said, if you get an FJR before I do, I'm going to break up with you. And so he very wisely went to great lengths to secure 2, because this was at the time when they were pre-order only. He called all over the entire Western United States, finally found 2 at a shop here in South Dakota that somebody had put money down on them and then backed out. And so he had those shipped out to Los Angeles, and it was big and ornate. And that's a story for another time if you'd like to hear that.
Neal, are you regretting buying wedding rings when you could have bought matching bikes now?
Well, that's a tough question to answer.
So he actually gave me a ring box, and inside of it was the key ring with the bike. And he did that, Vanna White, and it was adorable. But I had
that is a hallmark moment.
I had close to 300,000 miles on that bike before the Guinness World Record ride was going to start. Well, smart money is on not starting that ride with a bike with 300,000 miles on it. It hadn't given me any trouble, but, just to be prudent. So I started looking around and finally found another Gen 1 FJR, so I could just take all of my rally stuff and move it over to the other bike. Well, then once I had that bike, right, they just started coming out of the woodwork. And people, this was my dad's bike, and I wanted to go to a good home. Okay, I need that one too. So, we just, your garage expands.
Yeah, it
to
becomes,
take in all of these little lost
it becomes the
FJRs.
lost puppy show.
Yeah, somehow that's not the bike you chose to ride this time.
Well,
because this is where the story starts to get interesting here.
Yeah, we've got to broach this subject, and I know it's going to be tricky, but we're going to get through it, Wendy, and we'll chat about it and the outcome. So let's dive in.
I had done 6 Iron Butt rallies on the same FJR, and that is more Iron Butt rallies than any other single woman, and more Iron Butt, not saying single, not in a relationship, any other individual woman, and more Iron Butt rallies than any other individual motorcycle. So that motorcycle is now in the AMA Hall of Fame in Pickerington, Ohio. And I was like, I want a different challenge. I've done this rally 6 times. I want to do something that nobody else has ever done. And so I had pitched a lot of ideas to the head of the Iron Butt Association, and they said, we really, really want to see somebody attempt this on an electric bike. And if you would like to attempt that, we would grant you very wide latitude. So I began working with Energica to try to make that happen. And then the Iron Butt Rally announced that they were not coming back this year. And then Energica declared bankruptcy.
Right.
So then it was kind of a last minute back to the drawing board when the Iron Butt Rally in December of 2024 said, we're going to be able to pull this off. You need to have your applications in really quick. And it's like, okay, what am I going to do now? So when I lived in Mexico, I did a couple of rides with a brand called Zontes. And it's not sold in the U.S. It's sold in much of the rest of the world. Emma, you may know it. It's sold pretty widely in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But I did one of my proudest saddle sores. I did 1,000 miles in 24 hours on a 150cc Zontes bike. I did a 1,500 miles in 24 hours on one of their 350cc bikes. So I've had plenty of good experiences on their small displacement bikes on much shorter events.
I want to say I'm on their site, the Zontes, Zontes, and they have the adventure scooter, much like the Honda's ADV.
Yes.
I love it. And what I want to point out, look at that adventure scooter.
Oh.
Okay. Do you notice the foot pegs?
They have fold down foot pegs.
Not only do you have room,
plus the boards.
You have a spot to put your feet down in front of you as the pilot. You also have pilot foot pegs if you want to stand up and have that be like a battle scooter.
Oh.
Or, if you're in Mexico
or
and
like
you
rear
have,
sets.
You have 4 kids in between mom and dad, and then the tallest kid also has his own set of foot pegs.
So this bike has 6 foot pegs and floorboards.
It's so cool.
It's like foot peg city.
It's really, really cool. Like I saw it in person and I'm like, I'm almost regretting not getting this scooter. It's so cool. So I need to definitely find some sort of aggressive ride to do on that scooter.
Anyway, so you were flirting with Zontes. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not a brand I'm familiar with, even with my contacts in England, who, generally treat me like a long-lost soul. So I'm not as familiar with them as I should be. So anyway, so So what were you riding? So
I was riding a 703F Adventure. So they have a 703F RR sport bike and a 703F adventure bike.
I'm looking at it now. Was yours pearl white and Chinese red, or was yours black with gold graphics?
Mine was the matte blue with orange.
Ooh, I say, that sounds rather posh and is not available on this site. So we'll have to imagine how handsome it was.
It is brand new.
It's not this one, the blue and orange.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Ooh,
It's a good looking bike.
It's a good looking bike, man.
And just have we said where these are made?
They're made in China.
So it's not a Mexican brand.
It's not a Mexican brand.
So it's a Chinese company, and they're in different countries around the world.
Okay.
But these are they're not little 150cc's, not all of them.
Right. So they're, Italian engineered, and they scalped a bunch of good engineers with a lot of street cred. And this was, I sincerely loved this bike. It's a triple. And honestly, like you were talking about the FJR, and so I put 12,000 miles on this bike, and then I came home and I took my FJR out. I'm like, what is this portly thing?
So just to be clear, this is the ZT703 that we're talking about?
No, the 703F.
Yeah, okay, 703F. All right. Okay.
Very good.
Good looking bike. It looks like a KTM Adventure.
Yeah, it's got that look about it, but obviously it's probably got an exhaust note like a Triumph Tiger because it has those 3 cylinders.
It's got the triple, but it also has a decibel killer, which is good for the Iron Butt Rally historically has frowned upon the loud pipes save lives mindset. So I put the little decibel killer in mine.
And if we could just briefly address this. When you were doing seriously high miles, and I'm going back to my European adventures when I was younger, if you have a loud bike, it drones, and it can get tiresome when you're listening to it forever. There's very few bikes on the road that are as quiet as an FJR 13 at speed. So I think that's a huge advantage if you're doing just hours upon hours, right?
It definitely is. Yeah. It very quickly, to you and the people around you on a long mile day, it just, it becomes painful, you know?
Well, when I used to ride in Europe a lot with my friends back in the day, of course, we were all riding big air-cooled 4-cylinder bikes. Back then I had my GS1000 and my friends had KZ1000s and XS 1100s. Of course, the very first thing you do, number one thing you do, is you throw away the exhaust and put on a nice loud 4-into-1. And so when you were riding in formation, you'd get this resonation and they'd start resonating off one another. And it's almost like the individual noise of the bikes was amplified by each bike. And it really did get very, very tiresome in a group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've got on my FJRs, I have a V-Stream windscreen.
Yes.
And that I have the quietest little bubble sitting in there. I could take a handful of trail mix and set it on top of my tank bag and it won't go anywhere. And so to be sitting in that quiet little bubble, you really don't want, a loud exhaust.
Intruding.
Intruding in my space. I don't need to wear earplugs with that.
Yeah, it would be like a drunk uncle crashing your Christmas party.
Who needs that?
Yeah, who needs him? So anyway, so you were flirting with the Zontes, and you you decided to pull the trigger.
It was all really last minute because of how last minute the rally came back together, and so I called my friends in Mexico and said, "Hey, is it possible to pull this together?" So 3 weeks before the rally, I flew down to Mexico City, picked up the bike, did a couple of saddle sores home, and then I had, a week to prep the bike and get everything ready to go before it was time to head to the starting line.
So how many miles were on it at the starting line?
at the starting line, I had like 4,010 miles or something.
Okay, so
trouble-free.
broken in.
I got a quick question. How is it plated?
It has a...
Or are you allowed to say?
It has a manufacturer demo tag on it.
Okay.
So it took a few extra minutes at the border to try to get that sorted out, especially because I found out at the border that when it said it had, 65 miles left in the tank, it meant it was getting ready to stall now. So I actually had to push the bike across the border. So
wow.
When I come pushing in, right, it's 119 degrees. I have a bag of ice in my jacket. And I get up, and so there's all these red flags to this poor Border Patrol guy before he even looks at my license plate. But we got it sorted out. He let me across, and that honestly was one of my primary concerns is, are they going to let me across without?
It's quite obvious you were either stealing or smuggling something,
right? Or they were going to have me go through, officially importing it, which isn't what I wanted to do either. So,
all right. So you got it in. So you've got your Zontes bike, and I talked to you about this. You found it quite comfortable, yeah?
I brought an AirHawk seat down with me to Mexico City just in case I would need it on the way home, and I didn't need it. And so through the entire Iron Butt Rally ride, I never needed any sort of seat cover or anything else. I mean, obviously, ideally, if I'd had enough time, I would have a Russell Daylong made for it. But given that I had like a week and a half to play with, it wasn't going to happen. But that stock seat was amazingly comfortable. So I put on highway pegs.
Okay.
I put on 2 water jugs, and I mounted the water jugs in front of me just because it is chain drive. So I didn't want anything interfering. I was going to have to be rocking it up on the center stand quite a bit to do chain maintenance and that type of thing. And that having 2 water jugs mounted in front of me had the added benefit of giving me a little bit of extra weather protection, which was nice. I added some extra auxiliary lights. The bike comes stock with auxiliary lights, and then I added some more, and then I added auxiliary fuel. And that was...
What kind of bells and whistles does that model come with? Did it have like heated grips or anything like that?
Yeah, so it comes with like heated grips and the sport mode and eco mode, and Bluetooth. You can Bluetooth your phone into the infotainment center, tire pressure monitoring system. Yeah, I mean, all sorts of impressive levels of bells and whistles for.
But I ask this objectively because we have had conversations here about Chinese bikes in the past. We've already established that the fuel gauge monitor was wildly inaccurate. So how much of this shit actually worked properly?
So,
because you can have a lot of stuff.
Just get right to it, Emma.
Right. All of it worked, but I will say, like it has a quick shift and things like that, and a modifiable quick shift. A lot of this stuff, as a mechanic, like, as an enthusiast, I'm like, oh, look at me, I could do a quick shift. And as a mechanic, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is so much stuff to break.
Yes,
right.
I don't need quite this level of bling, because I don't need just that one more thing to fail. That said, everything I found it like the power delivery was really punchy. So like when I was riding it off road, I would be in eco mode, like in second or third gear. So it wasn't, really twitchy power, but man, on the highway, it was so much fun. I was riding into a bonus at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and I positioned myself so I was going in there just on sunrise. So it was like right before 5 a.m. There was nobody else on the road. And I'm going through these 25-mile-an-hour twisties. I mean, just like 60 miles an hour. And I'm like actively going,
allegedly.
I am having so much fun, allegedly going that fast. But it's,
It's hard to tell.
I
That
really
speedometer might have been broken too.
Well, the speedometer was off by a straight 10%.
All right.
So,
And
but,
that's quite normal.
Yeah.
10% is
We've talked about that here.
expected,
Your bikes
yeah.
are lying to you.
it was right at the allowable
Nice.
error range. But that moment stuck with me. Making that ride in there, because I was like, on the FJR, it's just a bit more work.
It's a big old thing, isn't it? It's a big old thing.
And so it just takes more work to go through this. And
Right.
I'm on this little bike and it's got power everywhere. I'm asking for it. And I'm like, oh man, this is just good.
And I mean, this is great. This sounds like the greatest ad for Zontes, but it's not the fairy tale ending, is it?
Before you get to the end part, one question I had is, did you get a chance to get it off road at all?
I did. Yeah. So I had a couple decent chunks of off road and sand, dirt, gravel, mud, and it handled everything with great aplomb except for the mud. Mm. And so that was I had put it had come stock with Michelin tires on it. I put Dunlop Mission Trail Max, and I think those have a reputation of not being the greatest in the mud anyways. But I think those tires combined with the very, very punchy power delivery, like I was all cocky going, up this road at a high rate of speed. And then I hit this hidden mud puddle in the shadow, and that knocked me down about 3 notches real quick. But yeah,
because one thing I noticed is, so we can talk about CF Moto a little bit later, but this one has a 21-inch front wheel.
It means it's a real dirt bike.
It means it can dirt.
Yeah, it can dirt.
They do have a lowered version that has a 19-inch front, 17-inch rear, but I had the 21-inch front.
Mm-hmm. Right.
18 rear.
So everything's going well. It's the sun's shining, the birds are twittering. You're clipping along doing how fast? What was your cruising speed on it?
I was sitting probably, so my first leg went out through across Wyoming, Nevada, into northern Nevada. So all of that is 80-mile-an-hour highway.
Fantastic. And you're in a very happy place.
I was sitting about 85. They were especially, there was especially high enforcement this year for speeding.
Yes.
So we had to keep it within the reasonable range. So I was keeping it within the reasonable range, but it was a very high-speed highway. And so I had a little bit of oil consumption on that first leg.
Okay. And I mean, define that. Or what are we talking about? A quart every 1,000 miles?
So my first leg was close to 4,000 miles, and I used a quart.
Okay, so that's not excessive. And in fact, it's a single-cylinder bike would use a lot more than that. And we've talked about the consumption of singles. For a triple, it's a bit thirsty, but nevertheless, we are. It
didn't strike me as highly worrisome.
No, not a quart in 4,000 miles wouldn't worry me either.
And especially on a brand new bike at a very consistent high rate of speed.
Right.
I had it pretty wrung out, over the course of that.
And so, how many miles did you have on it when things started going south? Because we know this is coming now. Because, I think listening to this show regularly enough, we're trying to lead everybody in, but you know what the outcome's going to be. So what happens?
Do we know?
Yeah, we're going to find out.
So the rally had, it started, ended, and had 2 checkpoints in Coralville, Iowa.
Yes.
So started in Coralville, did my loop around through the Western Desert.
Right.
Back to Coralville.
Yes.
Now I'm doing loop 2.
Yes.
And I made it all the way out to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Bar Harbor.
Yes.
Did you get a lobster?
I did not get a lobster. I got there later than I was supposed to. I was supposed to be there again before sunrise. And I did not make it quite before sunrise. So I was swearing my way through traffic in Bahama.
Yeah.
And as I'm stuck in this stop and go traffic, I start to feel this very slight grinding type of sensation. And it only happens like under very specific set of very low speed circumstances. If I take off like normal, I feel nothing amiss. But in stop and go traffic, it is undeniably there. And I'm like, that's like, I'm going to tell myself it's tire, but it's not tire. This is not wheel bearing. This is not worn, fat lug tires. This is like engine. This is like bottom end bearing.
Yeah.
Is the sensation that I'm getting. But I literally can't possibly be farther than, from home in the U.S. So
right.
What do? I point back towards home and hope for the best. And I made it back to Utica, New York, and then just had catastrophic engine failure in the middle of the night.
Are we talking a tossed Conrad through the case kind of catastrophic?
It was not. Thank goodness it wasn't quite that catastrophic, but I was, I was cruising along probably 70, and it cut out completely and then immediately popped back, but it was obviously on 2 cylinders, and I had enough time to go, oh, crap. And then it died completely, and that was it. So now I can...
You would think like, well, all right, this is over, and that's the worst of it.
Oh, did it get worse?
Of course it got worse.
No, do tell.
Oh, you don't even know.
Oh God, this is getting good now.
So I had been half prepared for this. When I started the rally, I wanted a different challenge, right? And this is a first model year bike.
Yes.
So when I was talking to the manufacturer and I said, what kind of distance are you getting out of these chain and sprockets? And they're like, report back. Let us know. Like literally nobody had run these.
Right.
Particularly long. So I am doing this massive break-in on this bike, and I was prepared for this as a possibility. And then when I felt the grinding in Maine, I was hyper aware for issues. So it was just kind of
Maine bearing.
Neal. But so I coast to the edge of the road, and this is my first DNF ever in 360,000 miles of competitions. Right. And so I'm just sitting there being trying to come to terms with this. And right before the bike had failed, I had been watching this really spectacular thunderstorm up to the north, and I had pulled up my weather map and thought, okay, well, so this is much closer to Ottawa. It's not going to be down here for a while, so I'm just going to enjoy the show. I got dry roads, and it's not going to hit me by the time I clear out of here. So now I'm sitting on the side of the road, and my phone starts blowing up with severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, lightning strike in your area warning.
And it's like, what time?
So this is 1:26 in the morning is when the bike failed.
Goodness.
Yeah. Not a lot of resources.
So I have called my tow company, which if you have read Pushing Miles, a chronicle of motorcycles, mayhem, and metal,
nice plug.
You know it is referred to as Shitty Towing Company. So I have Shitty Towing Company on the phone. I explain what's going on. Please do not send a boom truck. Please send a flatbed. This is a motorcycle. And they called me back repeatedly. They called my husband back repeatedly. Can you tell us again what brand of motorcycle this is? We don't find it in our system. And my husband said, just call it a BMW and send a tow truck, right? It doesn't matter what brand it is. It's like an adventure bike. Just send a tow truck. So I am there for hours. This storm now is upon me. There is a lightning strike immediately off the freeway, like right next to me. Hits a tree, blowing stuff up. So a few minutes later, finally, a cop pulls up, and they're like, good evening. I said, hello. And they're like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm having a lovely evening. And they're like, do you want to get in the car so you don't get struck by lightning? I said, that would be great. I really appreciate it. I get in the car. No sooner do I get in the car than just all hell unleashes. And so this is when it was a straight line tornado that came through the area. And so right about this time, the tow truck pulls up. As expected, it is a boom truck, not a flatbed. So it's trying to blow the bike over, and the guys can't talk to each other, between me and the cops and the tow truck. So they kind of move to block the bike in the middle so it just doesn't blow the bike away. And
I told you it got worse.
This is great.
We decide the plan is I'm gonna get in the tow truck with the guy. We're gonna make it back to his shop and get the flatbed, and then come back and pick up my bike. Well, we're on a toll road, so even though we can see the shop off the side of the road, it's 40 minutes to get off the road and get back to the shop. Best case scenario, but we are going through here. We watched a house get struck by lightning. We saw multiple other houses. There were 3 people killed in that tornado.
Wild.
There was trees fell on houses. Every way we were trying to get back to this guy's shop, there's trees in the road, there's flooding in the road, there's power poles down in the road. And so we drove around for a couple of hours, and, this guy's just calling in to the central dispatch for the EMS. This road is blocked. We've got a tree on this house here. We've got, power poles down here. So finally we make it back. By the time we get back to his shop, get the flatbed, get back, pick up my bike, get back off the highway. It is 7:30 a.m. by the time we're offloading that bike in front of the hotel. But
oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night. Yes.
Well, it was an adventure, darling. So, that was the end of that.
Oh, that night.
That night.
But can I just point out?
Yes.
She's got the loveliest husband.
Well, I'm sure
or he's very well trained. Either way.
No, well, we already know that because he bought Wendy matching bikes. So
right.
we already know what kind of fellow he is. So what did hubby do?
So he had been at the checkpoint. So we had Mike was at the first checkpoint, and then the second leg was only 2.5 days long. So he was waiting there at the checkpoint for me to come back, and we had done, service stuff at the first checkpoint, and then I was going to come back and change tires and so on at the second checkpoint. So he was waiting for me there with all of our tools and equipment.
And so what state was that in?
That was in Iowa.
Okay, there you go.
So
okay.
I called with this sad news, and he got everything shuffled around on the trailer and headed out to New York to pick me up.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Good guy.
So,
but
yeah, I mean, it is possible if you have a bike issue, you can exchange bikes. You lose 50% of your points. So you're never going to finish very well, but it is possible to finish if your bike fails.
Right.
But my timing was such that I had maybe 45 minutes of wiggle room to get a new bike. So one of the other competitors lives in Utica, New York. And I was like, even still, like if I had happened to be on the phone with you at that time and you had a spare rally ready bike, by the time we got it to me on the toll road, it would have been too late for me to make it to the checkpoint. Like I was that tight on time.
So knowing the rally the way you did, I'm sure it was the right decision. You said, that's it for 2025. We're not going to finish this rally.
Yep.
So the bike, so you are now back home with Mike. Where's the bike?
The bike's in my driveway.
Okay. Oh, very good. So the bike got transported back to Ohio.
Yeah. So back to Iowa. So we were there for the finish line.
Forgive me. Yeah.
And I was not the only one. I mean, obviously, like the average attrition rate for the Iron Butt Rally is somewhere around 10%. So to have a 50% attrition rate was a super tough rally. There was a lot of bike failures.
Right.
And there storms.
There was a lot of storms. There was a lot of, personal health issues. There was a lot going on. I don't think historically there's never been a rally with this high of an attrition rate.
So there was, there was clearly something going on. Now, I'm sorry that you didn't finish the rally, and I know that probably was
Thank you.
a bitter pill for you to swallow. Has there been a post-mortem done on Mad Uncle Rico?
I'm dying to do it. And they're very interested because this is a first-year model,
Right.
and presumably I'm the only person that has hold it, 500 off of Redline for a week.
So let's get down to brass tack. Oh, sorry, Liza.
I would like to point something out.
Yes.
And I find this interesting personally, and having talked to her about this, that we are at this point, and we've talked about this with brands like CF Moto,
Right.
that we're at that fork in the road where Chinese brands are being regarded a little differently than they have in the past. And Wendy is not judging it because it's a Chinese bike.
No, it's because it's a first model year bike. But
Right.
the other side of that coin is it was a catastrophic failure. And those are actually rarer than you think. So,
But it's a three-sided coin.
right.
Because they want to learn from it.
Right. Any responsible manufacturer would. So how many miles were on it when it failed?
So it had close to 11,000.
How many miles were on the oil when it failed?
2,800. I did an oil change at the first checkpoint.
What oil were you using?
I used the oil that was provided to me by the dealer. So it was Motul, or it was Liquid Moly.
Okay, so good brand of oil and probably genuine oil filters. I would be very interested as well. Here's what I think. I'm going to throw in my sense. I think probably what happened, there was some friction between moving parts, either the oil pump chain or the cam chain, on one of the slipper guides, and it caused particles. And if that's running quite close to one of the main bearing journals or the big end journal, it would have just been enough. Because I'm trying to project what would cause a catastrophic failure.
Well, it took some while too for it to go from noticeable to
Hondas were quite notorious for this back in the day with the Nighthawk engines, because they had this Hyvo chain that ran the primary, and the Hyvo would get a bit of wear on it and start producing like shavings, and then the shavings would get all encrusted around the main bearing right next to the chain. And it'd take out main bearing 3.
Well, interesting.
How common is this? Because you're not saying this failed most likely because it's a Chinese bike. You're saying most likely because it's a first-year model bike. So how common is this that you'll have problems like this?
I did that. It had its break-in oil change. Did an oil change before I started the rally, and then an oil change at the first checkpoint. And all of those were pretty clean, but that's interesting, Emma, that if it's generating bits that are just being chewed up in the main bearing.
I'm trying to think of it from a mechanic's perspective. If somebody dropped the ball on case hardening, if somebody dropped the ball on machine specs, both of which have happened.
Hey, Neal, you want to get in this game and we both have our prediction?
The failure rate would have come sooner.
My prediction is that it is a lubrication issue. And I honestly don't know if it's a wet sump or a dry sump. But I think based on the riding that I was doing, and I really was holding it pretty within 500 to 1,000 of Redline for that many thousands of miles. I think it is an issue where it is just not quite lubricating effectively enough at those sustained RPMs.
And that would be an easy problem to fix, because all you basically need to do is increase the volume of the oil pump. And that theoretically would would negate the problem. The only problem is what you're going to be faced with when somebody pulls that engine apart. Any engine that's grenaded, the shrapnel gets pumped all around the engine. So the oil pump's going to be full of debris. the screen filter at the bottom of the oil pan's going to be full of debris. The crank's going to be full of debris. And you've got to figure out the failure point. What I always say to people when they bring a failed motorcycle into the shop, I always say, look, I want you to think about this like crime scene investigation. We know what the crime is. The crime is your engine blew up. So what we're going to do is we're going to gather all the usual suspects and gather as many clues as we can. And I think your clue happened in Maine.
Right.
Is just feeling that grinding. So we're going to focus on that. I think it's going to be a cause and effect. But God, I'd love to get into that engine.
I'm going to throw my guess in the ring, and then you, Neal. I'm going to say it's valve related. Neal, what's your guess?
It may have been, well, I'm going to cite an example. Toyota had to recall a bunch of vehicles because they didn't rinse out all the machining dross properly from certain engine blocks. So it might be that some oil passage was blocked to one of the main bearings.
Okay.
So,
all right. We've logged our guesses, our non-educated guesses.
But I mean, so Liza wanted, Liza wanted us to talk about this, Wendy, about first model year problems.
Yeah.
Come up with examples.
How common?
Catastrophic failures are rarer than you think.
I mean, we hear about it in cars a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You get the recalls and you get, what was it like? What were the trucks that the tires were blowing up? Like,
okay.
Oh, the Firestone fire.
I mean,
that was Firestone ATX. And what happened with Firestone ATXs? Just a brief history with that. You had a marginal handling tire with a marginal handling truck. Mm-hmm. And so when things didn't go 100%, there were deaths. The Ford Explorers, the early Ford Explorers, this was very early on in the run of Ford Explorers.
And they were miserable handling vehicles.
Well, compared to everything else. Yeah. And Ford has got a long history with Firestone dating back to the very early days of Ford. And so Firestone came out with a tire that was reasonably quiet and smooth running for, in effect, a truck, because people were buying these things that are trucks, and trucks don't ride like cars. Where if you want to cart around Grandma Mabel and your newborn twins, you want something that doesn't ride like a truck. So Ford was softening the suspension on them. Firestone came up with these ATX tires that looked the part but were very, very quiet and soft running. Marginal handling tire, marginal handling truck. And
plus, weren't they running a lower tire pressure than normal?
To make them more comfortable
like
still.
26 pounds or whatever it was.
So anyway.
But you hear about it in cars more often, but in bikes.
I will say the same again. Catastrophic failures are rare. But I'll give you some examples.
Well, let me ask you a specific question. I want to ask both of you. Is there a one model and year of bike that you would recommend people to avoid for the reason you're about to say?
Yeah, first model year of anything.
Anything?
Yes!
Okay.
But you've got to do, the onus is on you to do some research, because it might not be the first model year, truly. And what I mean by that is that engine, that platform, that front end, that chassis may have been around for a while before.
Yeah, so
they're just putting different lipstick on the pig.
So that raises a good question. Has that triple been used in other platforms in the Zontes line?
No, it's a new engine.
Well, brand new.
Okay.
And Zontes has been around since 2003, so it's not a new company.
Right.
But Wendy, is there a certain year model bike that you're like, yeah, don't touch that, it's cursed?
AMF Harleys.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, no, and
that's fighting words.
No, it's absolutely true. I've publicly gone on and said over and over again that the AMF years at Harley's were by far the most handsome bikes.
Yeah.
Harley have never made a bike as good looking as the AMF years bikes since or before. They've just drop dead gorgeous, but they're not good bikes. But nothing was good back then. Your FJR is a great example, because you rode a first year FJR 300,000 miles. And you say, but that engine is not.
So mine actually was not the first year. The Gen 1 FJRs started in 2001 in Europe and Australia.
Exactly. So just because it was first year in America, and that's the point I was going to make, which was later in the show will bring me to my new purchase. Just because it is new here doesn't mean it's new elsewhere. Yeah. And that engine goes back even a bit further. You know, in Europe, you can buy a 1300cc Yamaha that almost looks like a Bandit. You know, it's a retro style thing with an FJR engine in it. Amazing looking thing and very, very popular back in the day. Went like stink, but a very retro looking bike.
Yeah, and even with those FJRs, so it was 2 years in. 2003 is when they came here. 2005 was the year that I had, and that whole first generation had an issue with improperly hardened valve guides.
Right, and
my bike had that problem, and man, was it just drama for a couple of years to get that problem fixed. And so, you know,
But we go back to it wasn't catastrophic failure. It was excessive oil consumption via the valve guides and valve train noise.
Well, Emma, I remember you replacing a lot of, was it R1 transmissions?
Yes.
Was that a new something?
Yeah.
Because that wasn't a new model.
But it was a new engine. So in 2015, Yamaha came out with this brand new platform for the R1. They felt the R1 had been kind of lagging a bit and the other bikes had taken over. So they really just went to town on this thing. Super lightweight, super thin wall castings for the engine. One use only fasteners throughout the engine. It's an amazing piece of machinery. But some engineer in Japan dropped the ball on the case hardening in the transmission. And so they were dropping gears, second and fourth. And so Yamaha's solution was just put a new gear set in it. And it was good work for me because the flat rate time was, they paid 15.9 hours for it. And I could easily do them in that.
Did you do any of those, Wendy?
No, because that was when during the period of time that I had my own shop.
Right. So 2015, it was 1 year only thing. And funnily enough, Kawasaki had the same problem. Very, very similar time on the ZX14 and the ZX10s. They only paid 3 hours. And the advantage with the Kawasaki is had a cassette transmission. So what you'd do with the Kawasaki, you'd pull the clutch off, you'd go around the other side and take the gearbox sprocket off, and then you'd pull the transmission out through the clutch casing with the engine in. But Kawasaki, cheapo Filippo, they gave you the individual gears. Yamaha, they gave you the clusters already made up. It was a complete kit. You got this box, and you open the box, and all the gaskets were in there. And thank God you didn't have to do the top end. But the engine had to come out, and you had to flip it upside down on the bench, and all the casings came off. So you got all the gasket, you got both gear clusters, you got all new fasteners for the engine, and they're one use. It was the craziest thing, the fasteners. Back when I was a kid, I used to love making little plastic models. And if I could afford it, if I got enough pocket money, I'd get the ones with the chrome-plated parts. Mm-hmm. If I didn't make enough pocket money, I'd have to get the kits where you get the silver plastic that masquerades for chrome. And that's what the nuts and bolts kind of looked and felt like. They were metal, but my God, they were weird. And they're one use only, and you set your torque wrench to the exact figure, and you just use them once. So you got a complete kit. Honda again, CBR 300, they had a recall on the cranks and then a recall on the recall. So what happened with the recall on the cranks? Again, an engineer dropped the ball on case hardening and the cranks were soft. And the cranks were eating the thrust-bearing face. So the cranks were moving from side to side, making an appalling racket. So Honda's like, okay, we need to do a recall with the cranks. And then the new cranks came out, but somebody dropped the ball on the machining, and the surface that had now been hardened wasn't machined smoothly. And so now somebody would bring in a bike that ostensibly was running fine, because you didn't have a choice. If you had a CBR 300, you had to bring it in for the crank. So you'd bring in your bike, the dealer would put in a crank in all good faith. The crank was machined badly, and within like 100 miles, it'd start clonking because the new machine face.
So I got a question for you, Emma.
Yes.
What's worse, a first-year model bike or a bike assembled on a Friday?
I'm going to put that one to bed.
Or a first-year model assembled on a Friday.
Yeah. You know, back in the old days, you know, Detroit, Hamamatsu in Japan, you know, Birmingham in England, they were Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 operations. And, you know, you go in on a Monday and you've been drinking a skinful all weekend and you've got a terrible hangover, you're going to assemble shitty vehicles. Same on Friday, you're done. Nowadays, pretty much everything that rolls off the line, the 24-hour facilities, there's a lot of robotics.
Yeah, robots don't care.
Quality control is way better than it used to be, no matter what people think. You talk about the AMF Harleys. I mean, they were great bikes that were just assembled very haphazardly, like everything else was in the 70s. No, I mean, first-year bikes, whether you like it or not, you are the guinea pig.
All right.
You are the guinea pig. And I've mentioned a couple of Hondas. Yamaha, big problem with the early XS 1100s were dropping second gear because the second gear wasn't strong enough. So you'd get somebody buying literally a brand new XS 1100. And, you know, back in 78, you bought an XS 1100, you know, you thought you were it. You're like a dog with two tails. And they were literally pulling out of the dealer, giving it the beans, putting it into second, and there was a bang, and now you haven't got second gear anymore. Honda, when they brought out the twin cam, the 750 and the 900, God, the cam chain tensioners were bad. And these bikes would rattle like crazy in the first service. So you followed the Honda specs to adjust the cam chain, they'd rattle worse. And so we had to figure out how to get these things to stop rattling until Honda came out with a fix.
So I have a question for you, too. I want to ask your opinion. This is not a statistic or a fact, but an opinion, so I'm declaring that. What brand do you think does the best job of a first-year model of getting it right? Is there a brand that you're like, they're pretty on top of this?
Kawasaki.
I think we've got statistics on that, and statistically,
you can. But I'm just asking your opinion as mechanics.
Yeah, Kawasaki.
Yamaha's the very best. In like across the board in terms of warranty and recall issues.
Yeah, and I mean, the Yamaha do step up, and I like Yamaha because they see themselves as the innovators, and you know they do a lot of work for other people, but. You know, Kawasaki is just such a big company, and they've got so much money to chuck at these things.
All right. I'm just trying to, like, for anyone having a first-year model bike, trying to give them some solace.
But no, I mean, I think, you know, truthfully, any of the Japanese four, you really cannot go wrong.
Wow.
Because the Japanese manufacturing industry, they spend tons on R&D, tons on quality control. The quality of the product they put out is enormously important to them. And I'm not selling American manufacturers or European manufacturers short. You know, the quality of any manufacturer's bike is enormously important to them. But the Japanese is just part of the culture. And with a few exceptions, they really do a very, very good job.
So, Wendy, you're chalking it up to probably a first year model, and the company is wanting to learn from this and make differences, which is great. And you have the support of a nice cop and a tow truck driver and your husband, so everything turned out good. So I'm just wanting to know, when is the book coming out? She could write an entire book about one night.
On my scale of chaos, this is a pretty low level of chaos. I feel like only one tornado,
A mere tornado and lightning strike. Yeah.
It was. I loved that bike more every day that I rode it, right up until it blew up. So the issue is now they're trying to figure out, how they want to get the engine back to China for the postmortem, because it is very important.
If only there was a qualified mechanic nearby.
I know. I'm like, well, so here's what I've been saying is, like, I am dying to tear into this thing, but I know it's important for me to not do it. And I said, I'm going to tear it. I'll drop this motor for you. I'll crate it up. I want you to fly me and the motor to China. I want to do a saddle sore in China. So
she's working that.
I'm working that angle. I would love to see it happen. But either way, I want to know what happened. And I've got my money on a lubrication issue. So
yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. And I think what we've got to do is we've got to find out whether it's cause and effect, whether it's a poor design that caused a failure in lubrication, because generally, metal surfaces only go bad when they're not being lubricated. So we have to figure out if the lubrication system failed, which caused the problem, or the lubrication system plugged, which caused the problem. But yeah,
or it was just low key insufficient and allowed enough little bit of debris over a long period of time.
Right.
I mean, that's 3 years worth of riding for the average person.
And
right?
I can completely relate. I too have a lubrication problem, and if I was to go out and try and run anywhere, it would be I think something would blow up on me too. I get it. But
no, that's through years of neglect, Liza. Years of neglect,
it
darling.
Would surely overheat and seize,
yes.
I'm guessing. But Wendy, I'm glad that you made it through. It's a good story. And I wanted to say, if anyone wants to hear more details about this, they can find you and I next weekend.
Oh, yeah?
At AMA Vintage Days.
Oh, blimey! It's that time of year again.
Yes. We're doing it. Yeah, Wendy's coming out. And it looks like there's lightning and thunderstorms forecast next weekend. The fun continues.
It's more Type 2 fun.
Which means...
never a dull moment.
Oh, I hope we have a tornado.
Yes.
Oh, I shouldn't say that, because you could.
Yeah, you could.
Jinx.
Which means I shall be running the garage, and everyone has to do exactly what I say.
Whips and chains.
Oh, God, yes, darling.
Discipline.
Rubber and leather.
So, yeah, anyone coming to Vintage Days, come find us at the FEMA camp.
Yeah, and you're doing a show with Stunt Misfits.
Yep. And, guess who else is going to be there?
Unky Phil.
Besides the whole crew.
Yes.
Moto Hop, Moto GP,
yes.
and Swiggy. Do you remember Jeff Fredette, Mr. ISDE?
Yes.
Yeah, he and his wife are going to be there. They reached out to me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so going to hang with them a bit too.
Jeffy.
I know.
They're both wonderful people, and his wife is a real kick.
Well, so yeah, we're going to be there, and you're going to be here running things, and Emma, we don't have a lot of time. We're not going to get too far into it, but we have not yet announced your new project.
No, we haven't.
You have a new project, so we're going to get to kind of follow you along with this.
Yeah. And
I'll say project?
Well, no, it's going to end up as one.
Okay.
So, we need to go back to 1991.
Must we?
Yes, we must.
There was a lot of neon.
And I was working for Honda back then, and Honda announced a brand new bike, and I had to have one. and it was the Honda CB1000 Project Big One. That was the actual name of the model. It was
Big One?
Big One. That was the name of the model. And basically, cut a long story short, I mean, it was a Hurricane engine in a very traditional looking bike with twin shocks.
Would this be an early retro?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, there were other retros about at the time because Kawasaki had this thing called the Zephyr. And the Zephyr was basically it looked like a Z1 with a more modern engine anyway. No, I always liked them, so I bought one. I actually had the very first black one in England. And I kept it for a few years, rode it all over Spain.
You have the need for speed.
And had a lovely time on it, and it was just a fantastic bike. And I saw one for sale a couple of weeks ago. Now, we talk about a first year. It was only sold here in America in 94, I believe, 93, 94. So it had already been sold a couple of years in Europe. And these are very crusty and rusty examples. But I thought, you know what? It'd be nice to have one.
So it's a twofer.
I got 2 for 1. Well, bike number 1, which is the more complete of the 2. Neither of these bikes are complete. Bike number 1 is more complete of the 2, but heavily crashed. Bike number 2 is less complete, but has sufficient parts, rare parts like the tacho, like the instrument panel, which are just fit this one bike, that I can theoretically build one good bike out of 2. The biggest hurdle is the forks are done on both bikes, and they just fit this bike. So I've got to find some forks, which I'm not that unhappy about. And they've got giant 18-inch wheels front and rear, and this was part of the folklore of the bike. Well, I don't want 18-inch wheels.
Oh, so I was going to ask, are you going like stock restore? Or are you turning it into something new?
I'll turn it. It'll look reasonably stock, but it'll have 17-inch wheels on it. Because, I mean, who the bloody hell does tires for 18s these days? We had a lovely young man come to the shop today, Kyle, who had his BMW in my shop. And Ryan.
Yes.
And like a lot of BMWs of that vintage, got a 17-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. And I could not get him matching tires to save my life.
It's not like he can swap out that wheel either.
Right, exactly. So, you know what? I'm done with 18-inch wheels. I already sourced a rear wheel for it, 17-inch.
Are you going to do something like a Harley wheel or something? Because you're prone to do things like that.
No, I mean, nothing that exciting. I'm just going to put a wheel from a Hurricane on it.
Okay.
It shares a lot of parts with the Hurricane.
All right.
Which is one of my favorite bikes.
Really?
Oh, God, Hurricanes are great, but they are big and porky. If you think Rufus is big and porky, or even an FJR 13, like a 1991 Hurricane, that is a big lump of motorbike. It's damn fast, but dear God, they're huge.
Have you...
It's like riding a truck.
Started either one yet?
No.
These are carbureted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I do what I always do. I buy it, and I regret it terribly, stick it in the corner of my garage, and go inside and have a little cry in the corner, and say, what have I done? What have you done this time, Emma?
Wendy, have you done that?
I actually owned a Hurricane very briefly in a deal where it was like they had a bike that I really wanted, but in order to get the bike I really wanted, I had to take the Hurricane with me.
Now, was it the big one or the little one?
I've been there. No, it was the big one.
Yeah, the big old things. God almighty.
What I really wanted was a YSR 50. And they're
that's quite polar opposites, really. That's one of the biggest sport bikes on the road compared with one of the smallest.
I just remember we had a kid come into the garage with, was there a Hurricane 600?
Yes.
That was white, and it just resembled a whale. It just looks like a
whale. I mean, they do.
Well, it was the first bike you can ride in flip-flops and shorts and not burn your legs, right?
Yeah.
It looks like a beluga whale.
Yeah, they are quite beluga-like. But, so anyway, yeah, you can follow along with progress of this thing. I mean, it'll be, I really, at this stage, I've always had this wonderful gift that when I buy a project bike, I can close my eyes and I can see it finished. And when I see it finished, it's very easy for me to follow that vision. And I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, I get you. I've had bikes where it's like a pile of clay, and you have to look at it and imagine what it could be.
And I don't know which way I'm going with it yet.
I always like to kind of search through the internet and get inspiration pictures.
But I think it's going to be a high dollar build. It's going to have Olin's on it. It's going to have Brembo monoblocks.
Stay with like a 7-inch bucket on the front. Or are you going to do any sort of fairing or anything?
No. It's going to be naked.
All right.
But, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do right now. Aside from the fact I've got this vision, I know I want 17-inch wheels on it. It's got twin shocks on the back, so I'll do the piggyback Olin's. Mm-hmm. I'll do the real ones on this, not the fake ones. Because I've got these stickers on Olin's inside.
Sounds like Emma's got a secret. She's confessing.
Olin's inside. And so I'll buy these cheap Chinese shocks and put the sticker on that says Olin's inside. But it's are those real? I said, well, the stickers are. But no, I think I'm actually going to buy real Olin's for this. And I'll do nice things to it.
Did you get a good price on them?
No, I've paid far too much for them. Because I let my heart rule my head.
Are they both titled?
Oh, yeah, they both got titles.
All right. Well, no,
they got titles and keys and everything. But I paid far too much for them.
Look, I'm right with you. I have a Harley I don't need.
But you've got the Harley for the good
She's
time.
got 8 of the same bike.
Yeah, but you need them all. And I mean, it's a good...
Neal's the only one with any control at all in this room.
No, I've got a car I'm trying to get rid of. But...
Yeah. No, I paid far too much for them. And they really are in appalling condition. I really don't know what I was thinking. I let my heart rule my head. It was like it was the 25-year-old me again.
Well, the couple that were visiting us today.
Yes.
Their first time here. And it was funny. His story was he had ridden the same bike, I think, for like 18 years. And it finally like gave up the ghost. And so his wife was like, oh, you can get a new bike. So he started looking for a new bike. Ended up with 3 bikes in 2 weeks. Because once you get in the hunt, you start finding the deal.
It's not just
and
me.
He came and he's like, I bought 3 bikes. And I'm like, you want another? And I started hard selling because I smelled the blood in the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's still in that.
Oh, you put him on that
and
annex.
I knew.
Still got that dopamine.
Well, his wife was there. And if I could convince the wife they needed it.
Yeah, but you didn't manage that, did you?
But I was a shark just swimming around.
But you get that rush, don't you? And it's like, but no, at the moment, they're both sitting in the corner of my lockup at work. And I'm frightened to look at them because I know they're going to be worse than.
Well, let's get to some emails because Wendy's got an email that slots right in perfectly to this conversation. And it's from a friend of ours who I'm assuming we're going to see next weekend, Wendy.
Yeah, we got an email from Patrick.
It's Patty.
Oh, hello,
Ding
Patty
dongs.
from New Jersey.
I'm prepping for VMD,
Yes.
and Lucas is coming with me.
Yay.
We will be there early and set up in the FEMA camp. Thusly, I will volunteer as tribute for Liza's shenanigans.
Oh.
Stunt Misfit sounds fun.
Yay.
Oh, yay!
I have a modifier for the D-1 equation as well. My wife was not wild about a third bike, so I got her a Bandit 400.
I like that.
That bought me some good grace. I'm up to 6. And when she says I have enough, I got her a scooter. She has 2 now and seems like she likes multiple bikes. Bring your spouse down the rabbit hole. And lastly, as usual, I agree with Emma. Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
A carved leader bike is like nothing else. My ZX9R is still a benchmark of what I'm searching for.
Yes.
Might have to find a survivor bike and make it my Rufus. See you soon, Liza and Wendy. From Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Yeah, this absolute God fucking mighty. There is nothing like a carburetted superbike. Just nothing.
So we have to figure out how to put
You're
in.
really twisting the knife, making me pine for my CBR 900 now.
So basically, we're looking at D-1 and then in brackets W+2.
Yes, I think so.
Right.
Okay.
Does it got to be W, or can it be S for spouse or significant other?
Okay.
Yeah, SO plus 2.
Whoever you got to bribe.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever.
All right. This is becoming a more complicated equation. All right, Emma, what do you have there?
Okay, so this one is from George or Jorge. And George writes, "Hi, I heard Emma on an older podcast say smaller motorcycles don't last as long as larger ones. Not true in your case, Wendy." That makes sense to me when you're talking about metallurgy or different technologies that affect things like lubrication. Oh, this is really ringing home for you, isn't it? But is it true when all things are equal for engine size? Emma was referring to a Craigslist ad for a first-gen Honda Transalp with 59,000 miles. How high mileage affects value? Why does 59,000 miles on a motorcycle powered by a 600 V-twin Honda engine have a bigger effect on value than, say, 59,000 miles on a motorcycle powered by an 800 Honda Goldwing engine? It's a very easy question to answer, George. I guess smaller engines forced to operate at higher RPM are more vulnerable to friction wear than larger, more powerful engine that can operate at lower RPM. But is there any other reason? Also, is the KLR 650 the greatest motorcycle ever made? No.
No.
No. So it's quite simple, and we've kind of broached a little bit about the subject right now. Wendy became the guinea pig for this brand new bike because nobody has ridden one as far. So let's take the two examples that George said. We've got the 600 Honda Transalp. We've got the GL 1800 Goldwing. The 600 Honda Transalp is a middleweight, reasonably comfortable little adventure bike, a quirky looking thing. I think they're just cute as a bug's ear, but mainly used for urban riding. And so the amount of examples of them that have a very high mileage on them are very, very small. So when you see one with a massive mileage on it, it does tend to stand out. The GL 1800, it's pitched as a long-distance touring bike. That's what it is. In addition to that, the kind of people that buy them tend to have a bit more financial clout. They're retired, they're experienced motorcyclists. I personally know of at least 4 or 5 GL 1800 Goldwings with 100, 200,000 miles on them. So they're a proven quantity. You know that a Honda GL 1800 will go 200,000 miles because there's an example of one, and there's an example of one, and there's an example of one. So when you're selling one online and it's got 69,000 miles on it, not only is it a proven quantity that they're easily capable of doing that, it's not going to be uncommon to see others with that kind of mileage on.
I want to throw another factor in here that I believe exists. Touring bikes, large touring bikes, are more likely to get higher mileage within a certain amount of years.
Oh, yeah.
And you take a smaller bike to get that same mileage, it's going to take many more years.
Right.
Because nobody's riding those distances. So I think time is as much a factor as mileage.
And now you're throwing in the ravages that just time can have on a bike.
Yeah.
Because it's like our bodies, When you're young, you can fuck up your body by taking all kinds of weird drugs and drinking massive amounts of alcohol and chain smoking cigarettes, and you can ruin a young body. Now you factor in age, and all of those fun things have a far bigger effect on our body because we are aging. And, just getting out of bed in the morning can have the same effect as mainlining heroin, for when you're 20. So, Either way is a road to ruin. So, and it's the same with a motorcycle. If you've got a 40-year-old bike that's taken 40 years to get to 69,000 miles,
Exactly.
that 69,000 miles is going to be a lot harder than the bike that's done it in 3 to 4 years with a service history, because you've got the financial clout to potter off down the Honda dealer and have them service it.
I think the perfect example of this is that guy who went around the world on a monkey bike.
Oh, God. Yes. Yeah.
A monkey bike is not something people, how many miles would you ever expect to see on a monkey bike?
Oh, God.
Would you be shocked to see 10,000 miles?
Absolutely.
Shocked to see 10,000 miles.
Right.
But within a year, he put, I don't know how many, like, he must have put it like 100,000 miles. I don't know. I mean, I think also that the touring bikes are made for the miles and will have upgraded components. But I think time is the bigger factor here also.
Yeah, I think it's a case of both. And Goldwing certainly are pitched. You know, these things wear like cars, and it's quite normal. You know, for a Honda Civic, for a Honda Accord, 200,000 miles. I mean, it's a high mileage, but it's not a massive mileage. 69,000 miles, if you're going to look at a Honda Accord with 69,000 miles in it, that is a low mileage car. So, and that's how the Goldwing owners are kind of pitching their bikes. The FJR is a great example. 300,000 miles on a bike. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
And mine's not by far the highest mile example. Mine just happened to go into the museum at that point. There's plenty that have more than 500,000 miles.
Right. You know, because it's designed as a long distance, very, very high quality, touring bike.
You know, I've often said back in like the 80s, 90s, when I'd go digging through motorcycle graveyards looking for parts. Remember how common that was? And I'd always look at the odometers on these like old Hondas and Yamahas. And
low mileage.
Average was about 17,000.
Right.
And that wasn't because that mileage was the end of the bike. It was the years it ridden that were the end of the bike. So it's an interesting question, but it does all.
But generally, the larger the bike, the more capable it is of higher mileage.
Okay.
And I think, that's with a couple of exceptions. And, Wendy is clearly an exception because you have happily ridden on smaller Chinese bikes, but you have exploded a larger one. I think generally that's the equation.
All right. There you go. Neal, you got one there.
Yeah, from Steve Martin.
Hey, Steve.
Oh, God, The Man with Two Brains,
That's
one
right.
of my favorite films. Or The Man with Two Bryans.
Two
The
Bryans.
Man with Dog Poop.
Life of Two Bryans.
Do you remember that one? The dog poop on the shoe?
No!
Oh, dead men don't wear plaid.
Yeah,
Pick it up,
go
but
into
it's
a bar and
steaming.
you meet a young woman and you say, I am done with you. I put dog poop on your shoe. And then the next man comes along and he knows, don't waste your time with this woman. She's got dog poop on her shoe. That's how you know.
Wow!
No, it's
That's a deep pull.
All right, deep pull. All right,
Yeah.
so what you got there?
Okay. Hi, Misfits. I do have a question. Due to declining health and knee and back problems, we have those around here, by the way, I may have to switch over to a scooter.
Ooh.
What maxi scooter is outstanding and you would recommend? Thank you. Steve in Arkansas.
All right. Can we clarify something? I just want to know, what CCs do you guys consider a maxi scooter? Are we talking 400 and up, 300 and up?
300, something like that.
Yeah, no, 300. 300's a maxi.
What do you think is the max of that? Or are we looking at like...
No, there is no max.
Well, yeah, you got the 650 Bergman, you've got the 750 Honda Adventure scooter.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to see. What are we looking? Do you think he's referring to like a 400? What's the one? Is it the BV? Yeah,
there's the BV 350, the BV 500.
Yeah.
There's the...
Was that like the B King, something like that? Am I making that up?
No.
That's a different thing. So the BV, I've never heard of any of these being bad. And the Yamaha, is that the T-Max?
Yeah, and there's the Majesties.
I mean, have you guys heard of
ones.
any of these being bad at all.
There's the BMW, the
Yeah.
C400.
Yep.
I've heard great things about those.
So I'll tell you my opinion personally. I love the look, and it's not a big maxi scooter. I mean, I love the Honda ADV scooter. I think it's so cool. But I think the ones you can buy in the States are $150. But I will tell you, I've been maxi scooter intrigued for a few years. And a lot of people want a scooter because of the step through.
So they have issues with swinging the leg over.
But maxi scooters, they don't. It's not a step through. I want to be clear. They're not step throughs. It still is a throw a leg over, like it's a high kick over. It's weird.
So
like,
can you like swing your leg in front of you?
Well, I mean, look at this scooter on the model behind Emma. It doesn't have that deep step through where you can step your legs through.
Right.
So they're all really are like touring scooters. And do they still make the Bergman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
If you're looking for just, that's a standard, wouldn't you say?
You know, Honda, I think they still do it. Honda did this marvelous thing, I think the Venza 300, which is great. It's fast, does 85 miles an hour.
I think sit on them and see what feels comfortable. Because some of them are awkward getting on because it's quite a wide vehicle that you can't step through. It's a throw a leg over. Maybe you can hit up Wendy and get a Zontes out of Mexico because those look cool too.
But
I'm telling you, man, those battle scooters are pretty awesome looking.
But you know what, Steve? I absolutely refuse to feel sorry for you because your body's failing you, because it happens to everyone. I think you should be applauded. You're still riding two wheels. Tra-la-la! This is a cause for celebration.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I don't know, get one and give us the feedback.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard anything bad about them.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bergman 650, and although it's not like a true step through, I think you could swing your leg in front of
that one, is the easier of them. But I think that they're very...
And it's stone reliable. They're
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
So as far as like anecdotal firsthand experience, my brief overlap with scooters, Mike and I we were riding up to the Arctic Circle, and we made it to Dawson City, Yukon. And like, we're feeling like badasses, right? We had ridden our FJRs all the way up into the Yukon. We're feeling pretty cool. We're setting up camp at a campground there. And up comes riding a Bergman 400, two up, towing a trailer.
Yay!
Rides by us, beep, beep, waves, launches off the edge of the hill and romps up the beach along the edge of the river. And we're like, oh, we're losers. Look at that cool guy on the scooter. Bergman 400.
You think you have the coolest bike, and then this guy shows up.
That has stuck with me for 20 years. Nice. Yeah, how cool that guy was on his Bergman. So,
all right. Well, I have one here from Eric. And you know how we love to live to ride to eat?
Yes.
And with Wendy, half a B.
You'll want to pay attention. Because as we continue our world tour, you're going to be here with me also. He says, hey, I was just listening to the June 23rd podcast where Liza was talking about going to the WEMA rally in Poland, Maine. I was just up in that area over the 4th of July weekend. I've had some recommendations. I know it's a bit of a hike from where you will be. It's about 2 hours-ish, but Young's Lobster Pound in Belfast, Maine will definitely satisfy Liza's seafood love. It's on the bay, and the seafood is fresh from the boat to the pound. All the seafood is kept live with the bay water, keeping everything live and fresh, and all the seafood is steam boiled in the bay water. You can buy live to take home or have it cooked and eat it there at the tables overlooking the bay. Live to ride, ride to eat. I also recommend getting some donuts at Holy Donut in Portland. Of course, now that I've written this, I just remembered you lived in Boston. You may already know of those places. I don't. And in fact, I've had a few seafood meals this weekend. I went up to Sam's and got my birthday lobster roll.
Awesome.
Yes, and then I had two different shrimp appetizers.
Yeah, and we did shrimp at
we did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made them eat shrimp. I like Thank you very much, Wendy. We may be having to go to Belfast for Young's Lobster.
I'm game. Let's do it.
All right. Emma, we got time for one more. You have another email there?
Oh, do I?
Yes, you had two. No, You already read the one. That was it.
Yeah, no, that was
Oh,
it.
because somebody was trying.
Yeah.
Trying to give you another bike.
Yeah, trying to get me to buy a Bandit. No, God, it's tempting.
The timing is bad when you've got.
Yeah,
these
I know,
two projects.
but no, I'll chat with him this week.
Do you need a Bandit?
Oh God. Well, no, because the thing is, God, I'd really love a turbo Bandit.
It's a turbo?
No, but it will be.
Oh. It's a 1200?
Yes.
Oh, is it green?
No, it's black.
Oh.
He's been down here on it.
Oh.
Yeah. The only thing that puts me off a Bandit is they're monoshocks. And for whatever reason, America, because you can buy a twin shock Bandit, but it's not called a Bandit, it's called an Inatsuma. And you can buy them all over the world. You buy them in England. And it's basically a Bandit with twin shocks, but we never got them in America.
Well, I was fond of the Bandit 400.
Oh, Bandit 400, fantastic little thing. It really is. And revs to like a gazillion, trillion, gajillion, thousand RPM.
So there you go. Yeah, look for Wendy and I in Maine in September too.
Look for Wendy and you at Mid-Ohio next weekend.
And I haven't even told you the other places we are working on to continue our world tour.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, Wendy, she works. She's working it. Have you not figured out that this is what Wendy does? She works it.
Okay.
I'm working it.
Yeah, she makes things happen.
Will you be
visiting tour?
Yeah, will you be visiting New York to visit the scene of the explosion where you killed your little Chinese bike?
Oh, Utica?
I don't know.
I came really close. I know. I should go back through there.
Yeah,
I was planning on going through.
I think it deserves a plaque by the side of the road. I really do.
Here
lies
the
really
steaming pile.
The site of Wendy's first DNF.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
My gosh.
R.I.P. little Chinese bike.
Well,
not so little. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Wendy, and sharing that story. I think I was talking to you when you were still mid-stranded.
You were. I talked to you in the tow truck because you had called me when I was standing out in the tornado, and you called me, and I'm like, "This is what's happening." Oh, lightning! There was lightning down in the house.
Oh God! I wish that had been recorded. Dang.
Yeah, and I'm just envious of the adventures she goes on.
Oh man, it was solid. Like as far as bike failures go, man, that was.
It was as good as it's gonna get.
We put a
I don't know. Next
weekend, pretty high bar.
Next weekend, Vintage Days.
Very good.
We're doing this. I got my costume packed. I'm ready to hit the road.
Evel Knievel and Wonder Woman.
Well, yes.
Evel Knievel and Biker Chick. There's going to be pictures.
I'm bringing multiple masks. Just saying.
Okay.
I know. But yeah, shout out to all the stunt misfits who's going to be joining me next week. And Wendy doesn't know, but she's getting roped in too. We'll go out and do interviews, and I will be recording and editing in Ohio and releasing that next week. So you guys get next weekend off for the podcast.
Oh, blimey. What am I going to do with my time, I wonder? I'm going to go to the pub and drink gin and tonics. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Chumley Warner?
It's going to be.
I've got a school bus you can borrow if you need it, Emma.
Oh, well, I probably will afterwards.
It'll take you further.
I think you should ring up Mildred and go do another sewing circle.
God almighty. Mildred's crochet circle. Poor tea, Vicar.
So Betty Lewis talked me into hiking Mount Whitney at the end of August. So I've got to train for that.
Make sure you stay very well lubricated.
Yeah, that's right. I can't let my joints go bad.
You know what happens.
Okay.
And don't forget to go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com. You'll find the link to everything there, including T-shirts that we have on sale. Wendy, do you need a new T-shirt or do you already have one?
I need a new T-shirt.
Well,
I'll pack one for you.
You need one of our new T-shirts because they are fabulous throughout.
Great.
Love it. Can't wait.
A great XS 650 race bike on the front. It's awesome.
So we've reached the end. Thank you, Wendy, for coming. thank you for listeners who made it this far. And thank you especially to our Patreon subscribers. You guys are the best. We so appreciate
The best of the best.
And to the visitors. Like, I love the people who come by and make Emma go play hooky.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. So thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Curtis and Killian, for just a wonderful afternoon. I can't remember when I enjoyed myself most. And, playing hooky from work, just like when you're a kid and you're playing hooky from school, it's just so delicious.
Yeah,
you're your own boss.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're still playing hooky.
Especially if you made it to Nepenthe. I love that place.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's time to get out of here. Thank you, everybody. This is Liza.
Emma, darling.
It's Neal.
And Wendy.
And we're out of here.
Cool.